Hello, and welcome. Welcome to the Fit Over 40 Challenge Show, the number one health and fitness show for those of us in the club. That's right, the 40 and Over Club. And my name is Coach Dave, and I'm going to be your coach and host today, and I'm super excited to bring you another edition of the Fit Over 40 Challenge Show. And today's show is titled, Forget About Setting Goals. Try this approach. Now, before I go ahead and jump into today's episode, I just wanted to reach out and tell everybody thank you so much for just all the positive reviews that you've been posting and sharing about the show. And I really do appreciate those, as those help grow the show and continue to reach out and help more people. So thank you for that. And also, if you're not a part of our community on Facebook, and you are on Facebook and you want to join it, it's a great group of people. It's allabouthealthandfitness.com. You can go there and just join the group. I'd love to have you in there and just interact and help you out any way I can. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there before we get started and we dig in. But without further ado, let's go ahead and set this show up and let's get it started. All right, so the title is Forget About Setting Goals and Try This Approach. Now, I don't know when you're listening to this, but when I'm recording this, it's actually June 1st. And we're getting close to being halfway through the year. But it just kind of all came to me within the last couple of weeks, really, just kind of some of the things that I've been doing and going through that's made me kind of realize and kind of change my approach a little bit on things. Because I'm going to be honest, I've always been a big goal setter, but I haven't always achieved them. And sometimes that's always left me feeling, bad, I guess, about myself. And I realized that what I see happen a lot of times, come January 1st, everybody's gung-ho setting New Year's resolutions and goals. And they set big, high goals for themselves, like, let's say, losing 20 pounds, And what happens is they don't seem to get the results they want. And maybe you're one of those persons that's one of your goals is to lose 20 pounds. Or maybe you're someone who's been following along a DVD plan or workout or diet plan. And so I'm going to ask you, how's that working for you? Maybe you're kind of frustrated and gone through some of the same situations where I haven't reached my goals when I've set them. And maybe you're at that point where you're just like, you know what, I'm going to quit and I'm going to wait again until January 1st. But I want to challenge you today, and I want you to listen to this podcast, and I want you to go with this new approach. Okay, this is a completely different approach than what you're probably used to doing. And you might think it's really simple and easy, and you're like, huh? But just hear me out all the way through, and then at the end, I'm going to go ahead and tell you how you can get some more information if you're interested in going through this process. So here's kind of how it works. Okay, let's just kind of break it down real quick, and let's talk about from the goal standpoint. We are taught to think about what we accomplish, okay? And we're supposed to make it SMART goals. Maybe you've heard that before, those specific, measurable, attainable, etc. And what happens is, once we've done all that, we've set that ultimate goal. We've got it, man. We're going to get this. But for most people, not all, and because I know that this has worked for me too in the past, but for most people, they don't reach them. And that's because goals aren't achieved through the mere act of setting them. And goals aren't achieved through sheer force of will. Just because you're thinking about it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Okay? And so now let's also look at the programming side. So some of you guys who have gotten on programs or diet plans and that hasn't worked for you, here's the problem. We're always taught to seek out a do this or don't do that program. And then it turns our lives into that achieve that goal at all cost type projects. And when we don't, we become, single-minded, and it doesn't work out, and we get that feeling of failure. So the whole goal-focused approach fails most of the time, unfortunately. And again, I'm not saying that's for everybody, because I know some of you are going to probably respond back and say, no way, man, I set goals all the time and I hit them. But for most people, I see that that's kind of a detriment to them. They're setting these ultimate goals that they just can't reach because they don't have the skills. And this is where I'm going to go with this, okay? So let's say that you want to take a different approach to this. Maybe you're open-minded here, okay? And here's what I have seen that has showed some success. And it follows a completely different process here, all right? So first, you're going to break down the things you want to do into specific skills. Second, you need to develop those skills through intentional daily actions. So what does this look like, or what do I mean? Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so the formula looks like this. Practice daily to build skills, and then build skills to achieve goals. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Practice daily to build skills, and then build skills to achieve goals. So you might have heard of this, or some people call it habit-based approach, and others call it practice-based. Okay, they're one and the same, and they're based on current research around skill acquisition and change psychology. All right, so growth and development comes through daily habits and supporting experiences. Now, let me give you an example of kind of how this works. Okay, we're going to say the goal is to eat better consistently. So let's say you want to lose weight. You know that to lose weight, you need to eat better consistently. So that's your real goal, okay? Eat better consistently. But you don't have all the skills to do it just yet. So you have to break it down into skill. Here we go. So skill. We're going to call this hunger and appetite awareness. So let me ask you, which skills are required to eat better consistently? So we've already identified that hunger and appetite awareness is the key. And so what I want you to do is I want you to start building a practice that's going to help you get there, okay? Because listen, it's not a concrete thing that you can do. But let me just kind of show you what you can do to practice to get there. So here's the practice. Eat slowly and stop eating when you're satisfied. I know you probably have heard that before, that you need to chew your food, you need to take your time. But most people don't really do that. And listen, I'm pretty guilty of this myself, and this is what I'm starting to try to do myself, is try to eat more slowly, and when I'm satisfied, I push it away. Now listen, I have kids, and I get in that bad habit of they leave something on their plate and I'll grab and eat it. I don't need that. I haven't developed that skill yet to where I just say, you know what, I'm satisfied, I don't need it. Okay, so we use 2 daily habits to do this. This is how this is going to work for this appetite and hunger awareness. Habit 1 is eat slowly. Habit 2 is eat until satisfied, not stuffed. Now, I know you think that this is pretty easy, but I'm going to tell you that this actually takes a month. It takes about 2 weeks to learn, practice, and repeat each of the 2 habits. Now, at the end of the month, 2 very important habits have now been learned and you can use for the rest of your life, okay? Just by doing it. Now, not surprisingly, a lot of times when you start to do this, you're going to start to see weight loss, okay? Because, of course, you're learning how to eat a bit less and you're adjusting your intake according to your body's signals. So this approach is the perfect antidote to program thinking when it comes to your fitness and your health. So instead of a meal plan to follow, which is a very short-term solution that never really addresses your problems, try this approach. It's progressive, okay? And it's going to help you build transferable skills while ultimately stair-stepping and stacking other habits that's going to lead you to real change, okay? So here's what I'm saying is going to happen is, one, you're going to accomplish goals more quickly with less effort if you start to form this habit-based, change-based type approach. You're also going to have a better time at maintaining those results. Because what happens when you stop following a plan? And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Those plans work if you follow them and you continue to follow them, but most people have a hard time. Life gets in the way, and then they fall off. But if you have these skills, these skills or these habits that you've created, you don't need to always follow a plan. You can be pretty much a normal person. You can eat things that don't necessarily follow a certain or particular diet, like let's say keto or vegan or DASH or whatever, Atkins, whatever you want diet or plan you want to throw out there, paleo, okay? And then the third thing is that you're going to be able to do it within the context of a real human life. Again, that's really kind of what I was just saying there, is to kind of get back down to, if I look at what happens throughout the time I'm working with a client, and when I see that they struggle, is life gets in the way. And I'm assuming that most of you guys who are listening to this are in your 40s. And maybe you're not. Maybe you're a little bit younger, but you're probably also into that stage of your life where you're working, you have a career, you have a family, you have kids. I mean, listen, the hardest thing for us when we've got dance and cheer and soccer and volleyball and basketball, and who's picking up, who's dropping off, is how to, create meals and get meals set up, where we're not going through the drive-thru, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is that whole preparation of meal plan. So when you have that strict type of plan or diet that forces you to really put time and effort into it, sometimes life gets in the way and it just doesn't happen. And so when you take this type of approach where you're building skills and you're working onto them, it's a lot easier to maintain. So when you fall off the wagon, you can get right back on. And so I want you to start thinking about, what is it that you can do in terms of a skills-based approach. Maybe it's getting more sleep, and that's got to be practiced, okay? But you can't get more sleep, unless you've got a plan to be productive and get things done if you're always working, So there's lots of different, you have to build upon that and you have to develop those skills. So with that being said, I want to offer out my skills-based coaching. And it's going to be a year-long process. It's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight, because there's lots of different skills that we need to build in order to make you successful long-term. See, I'm in this thing for the long haul. And so I'm going to be opening up my online coaching transformation program that's going to ultimately be a year long. You're going to work with me for a year. And we're going to develop each week and each month a new habit-based skill that's going to ultimately get you the results you want. And so I'm going to have more information on this, but if you want to just go over to the fitover40challenge.com, there's a place there for the ultimate transformation program. You can fill out that form and you can get on there, and you can just have a quick coaching call with me. But I'm also going to be having some more information coming, so hang tight on that. But I wanted to just kind of get this out there today, since it is the 1st of June, and I know we've got just over 6-7 months left in the year, and I don't want you to just wait till January, because that's another 6 months, 7 months that you could be working on transforming your life. So, again, forget about setting goals. Start focusing on habits and habit-based and change-based type behavior that's going to ultimately lead you to your transformation. All right, so with that being said, I hope you make it a great day. And again, if there's anything I can do, please just reach out to me. And again, I'd love for you to share this with your friends. When you leave those reviews, that helps push it up, and it helps spread the word, and it helps get people, the knowledge and the ability to listen to something that might just trigger them to transform their lives. So I appreciate it, and that will be it for me today, and I am signing off. This is Coach Dave.